here for another episode of the Spotlight podcast with PJ Roustan. How'd I do on pronunciation?
Roustan, it's great. You did good.
Perfect. So you're a marketing strategy leader calling in from beautiful Mexico with the shirt to reflect it so we can all be jealous as we head into the cold months.
Indeed.
Uh, and we're going to today look at a buyer journey with you and learn from your multiple successes with CPG brands across a variety of different niches. That I think is really magic. I don't think I've met anyone else who's had so much success with different brands in your space. So really looking forward to this one.
I appreciate that, Nick. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So before we pull up the buyer journey we want to look at with you, which will be the bulk of the discussion, do you want to just give us a minute or two on like how you stumbled into this and realized like this was your superpower and what you wanted to spend your work and time on?
And that being marketing or buyer journey
Marketing, yeah,
specifically.
marketing
Yeah.
and how you do it.
I think what I really did is fell in love with the process. And uh, the thing about marketing is that for me, it always keeps you on your toes. It's ever evolving, and this day and age, faster than ever. So to really be on your game and to really do your best work, you have to be immersed in the space and in the work itself. So that has kept me, I think, growing and learning and building each and every new brand that I've taken on, and each one comes with different challenges. And so it just keeps me on my toes and really helps me stay sharp. So I like a good challenge, and this is exactly what it is.
That's by far the most humble answer we've ever gotten on the show. Usually people name drop brands, and especially with your pedigree, you could have, but maybe we'll tease some of them out of you when we get into the evaluation part.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
but yeah, it's rare. Usually we talk to folks who have like one or two big successes, and you have like five, and they're all well documented. It's really amazing.
Thank
Um,
you.
so for structure, so we're going to pull up this buyer journey that we put together. So like you've never seen this before. It's for a company that has no affiliation with either of us. So if the company sees this, forgive us for putting together this really bad buyer journey. It's just to give us something to talk about, so you don't have to make up a company end journey. And the goal is to look at the structure, and you as the expert that have done this over and over again, to kind of like key in on an area that you'd tend to go if someone put this in front of you, like one of your staff said, "Hey, here's my plan. What do you think?" And then hopefully we can learn a bit about that piece from you,
Sure.
and maybe take a little bit and bring it into our businesses. Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's pull this up and screen share. All right. So this company, so it's called Flow State Micro. Again, we put together this buyer journey. They have no idea that we did this, but they sell a little bit of coaching and some medicinal mushroom products. So it's a unique space. It's kind of related to some of the things that you've done on the CPG side, nutrition focused, brain focused. And it's a really basic buyer journey we put together that starts with case studies, medical information at the top of the funnel, just to generate some sort of awareness, put them on the map.
Mhm.
And then the founder actually does some teaching. They have a course product too on top of their actual products that they offer. So we figured like something in the middle to convert people to identified prospective customers would be like a free webinar or something. And then you have your basic e-com at the bottom, trial offers, discount offers for purchase and subscription. But say I'm your director, you're the CMO, and I put this in front of you. Like where does your brain tend to go?
Initially, I mean, it has some great structure here, but what I do notice is a little bit of a gap here in the middle of funnel. Kind of wondering what you have planned there and what you would expect.
Yeah, well, I think the rule of thumb, at least what I've learned, the rule of thumb is to make sure all these things are complete. So,
Hmm.
so middle of funnel, the way we break this down, top of funnel is almost all awareness. So people get value for no information, no self-identification. These these green, so first data and middle of the funnel, these are when you start to capture like email and buying preferences, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
But you're also distributing through different channels. So you might use affiliates or influencers. You might approach review sites here to distribute that information. This is where you try to rope in some third party validation instead of just distributing everything on your own. Um, and that's probably a big area of opportunity. So for you, especially with the brands that you've built, that's kind of where you
Mhm.
go first. Like, what's the bridge here, and how would you start to fill that?
No, I think you're right. Influencers are a great place to start. I think both from a lower cost, but also depending on how big and small your department is, it's a great opportunity to make big gains in specifically in the middle funnel and introducing your brand and the value prop to new customers. I think that's right there is also where you have a chance to really impress and influence a lot of the prospects that you're starting to reach at the top of funnel and have a fast way of converting them. I found influencers, especially at Mosh and even at Perfect Bar, we had tremendous success. Patrick Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver had a huge built-in network at Mosh. And that was one that we were first to capitalize on by really leveraging and I would say weaponizing their celebrity and then
Yeah.
the control, really the influence they had on their built-in network. Um, to put this into perspective, I we launched go to market with it was a influencer campaign that was driven by them, but also it was a teaser campaign prior to launch. We were able to collect 65,000 emails in less than
Jeez.
30 days at
Jeez.
35 cents cost per acquisition, which is unheard of
Yeah.
even in the days of prior to the iOS update. And I
And that
think it
was
was
all
less than
influencer. Like, that was
it
all.
was all Patrick and Maria's built-in network. We hadn't even really we hadn't really even scratched the surface of our full influencer
Wow.
program. They were really just the spearhead of that. But I think what I'm trying to articulate is that uh, the the influence that um, influencers have over their built-in network and with their built-in network can have
Immediate
monumental
impact.
impact. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And for us, when we launched, we sold out in our first week. I sold out of inventory within our first week. They had thought it was going to last 6 months. We had sold $500,000 in the first 7 days.
Jeez.
And this was during the time of long lead times for COVID, due to COVID. And so we were playing catch up ever from the launch for the first almost year. It was because we had once we had sold out, we had pre-sold the next production run of product, and we had already sold through that by the time we had even gotten the second
What a
production run.
dream.
So it was kind of a momentous a launch that I think we were really not prepared for, and they had not seen really the impact that they had over their audience. And this was the first time for them to really kind of, I think, see that in motion. And when you're able to activate a network and really get them excited, um, you, they can make a big splash. And so that's what happened. And it would really set us off on a great trajectory.
That's amazing. So the teaser campaign was to kind of prime the audience, or was that for prospective customers to get them going in the beginning? How did
Yes,
it work?
it was both. It was Prime Patrick and Maria's built-in network about the launch of Mosh, and
Mm,
it was a waitlist campaign that ultimately was we they were rewarding points and entries that ultimately they could win a year's supply
mhm,
of product. And so, as the waitlist campaign developed, and as we were promoting the campaign via Facebook ads and whitelisting ads on Facebook, which were getting tremendous results, I think that it started picking up steam really quick.
mhm.
And that's something I would recommend for anybody who would be launching a new product or a new brand is kind of think about this from a holistic perspective and start thinking ahead of time. What can we do to create a splash from the start
Yeah.
and leverage that momentum to um, get that awareness and really get that trial because ultimately once you're getting trial and especially depending on the type of product you're selling. I know fast moving consumer packaged goods, it's all about repeat purchase, and so it's
Yeah.
getting those customers in the funnel and really start driving repeat purchase rate and LTVs.
That's wild. Is there, so when you're building up that wait list, I've seen it done a couple times, but people
Harry's was
tend
the
to,
first, it was really the first brand to perfect this campaign type of,
yeah.
and and since then, I think brands have utilized that model, and it's what I really ultimately utilize to build off of that campaign.
So how do you know, you're building up a wait list, you get,
Hmm.
to 30,000, 40. How do you know when is the right time to actually start to go to market with them? Like, how do you know when to move out of waitlist building and into, okay, now it's time to activate, let's go?
Well, for us, it was just a matter of it was really a matter of resources. I mean, I was pushing, they were pushing to launch as soon as possible. I was trying to align all of the ecosystem, both from a digital perspective, and making sure that we had everything in place to actually capture this traffic and momentum.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think the plan that I had put together was it came together so fluidly. I was surprised because it
It
usually
never
never
works
goes
that
like
way.
never works like that. But and thank God because I was a one man show at the time. It was myself and my colleague. We were two employees at the time prior to launch, and we had been working around the clock, getting everything ready prior to launch to make sure it was ready for go time.
So there wasn't really a threshold you were looking for. It was more just like keep building up the wait list, and the second the
Well, once we
company's ready,
started
you
running ads
go.
and once we started seeing the metrics come in, I knew that I had set the goal of 70,000, emails, and we were pacing that almost perfectly
Hmm,
um, based on our paid spend and what
hmm,
I had allocated. So I knew if based on the metrics for really email acquisition and the conversion for a trial based on a certain trial offer that um, we were going to sell out and we were going to probably go out of stock. And when I sounded that alarm, nobody believed me. This was
and
about
then
a
you
couple
did.
weeks, maybe a week or two prior to launch, and they said no way. And in fact, Patrick, I remember Patrick bet me a dinner at Maestro's, if I remember correctly. I never got that dinner, by the way, so
Hey,
so I got to take him up
Patrick.
on that. But that we would go out of stock. He says, if we do, I'll buy you dinner. I said, oh, I'll take that bet.
And then you
We're
went out
gonna
of
sell
stock.
out. Yeah, and I said, I suggest we start putting in an order for our next production run. At the time, I think lead times were almost 9 weeks, or if not 12. So we went ahead and did that at that time, and sure enough, 7 days, and then the next production run sold out within the next week and a half, 10 days. So we were already $1 million in revenue within, and really hadn't even shipped product yet.
That's unbelievable. That's so
Yeah.
fast. Did you, I mean,
Yeah.
is the 70,000 number based on what you thought you could convert? Like how many?
Yeah, it was really what I thought. Uh, what I had hoped we'd be able to acquire over this period of time, but
Hmm,
I knew I had a certain set budget for a lead acquisition and this overall campaign going leading into the launch. And if I could hit a benchmark of a cost per acquisition for per lead at a certain cents or dollar, then we'd be in good shape. And
hmm,
so that's what I was aiming for when I created the plan. But as we
yeah.
actually put it into motion, it was clear that we were going to hit that, and it was going to be a big splash, and it
Wow.
was.
So my
Yeah.
big takeaways, I know we started talking about influencer, but I think my big takeaways are have a waitlist strategy with a concrete plan. I mean, you started with the end
Oh
target you were
yeah.
looking for, and use your plan metrics to decide like if you're pacing
Hmm.
ahead or behind. And
Hmm.
it's almost like the pacing helped you figure out if you were on to the right thing or not. If you're
Hmm.
pacing way low, maybe you're not reaching the right audience and you're not going to sell the way you expect to. But if you're high, like you guys were, then you're onto something. Like you've got
Hmm.
market fit. This is going to be successful. Does
But
that
also,
sound
there's
accurate?
there you also are, you have a few you have a toolbox of tactics, right,
Mhm.
at your disposal. If you're choosing the right tactics, you're going to be acquiring customers at a certain rate. If you're choosing the wrong tactics, you're going to know that fairly quickly. And
Mhm.
so and if you, depending on, without that many resources and not that many hands on deck, you got to make the smart decisions very quickly to be able to right set anything that is not on pace and not on par. So when you're able to create a plan from beginning to end, full funnel, and really understand what the goal and objectives are, and knowing where to lean in first, and then also being able to check that in real time how your campaign is performing, um, you have everything you need to make smart decisions.
Mhm.
And you're working on past performance, knowing what our experience tells us about conversions and email acquisition and things like that, um, and so you're using all of the tools that you've developed over the course of perhaps your career, but also in the data that you're responsible to, and so with those, you have everything you need to really set the course for what could be uh, a breakthrough campaign.
I'm thinking a lot of the CEOs that watch our show are going to want to need you to help them make the good decisions. So if folks do want to get in touch with you, if they're building something like this, maybe they don't have the experience that you do about how to put a plan together or where to set their thresholds. How do they get in touch with you so you can help them cheat a little bit?
I think LinkedIn is a great option, and I'm always trying to post good content and helpful content there to
Hmm.
help founders, help marketers, and junior marketers develop these skills and understand really the problems that are to be solved and how to do them in smart and effective ways.
Yeah.
The
No, I
idea
think this is
is,
a
especially in startups, is you don't have the budgets. You know what I mean? You don't
yeah,
have the budgets of these big brands, and so you have to be lean and you have to be resourceful and gritty and find ways to win when others don't know where to look. So
yeah.
that's how you do it, and that's how at least I've been successful in the brands that I've worked for. Have I think we've made big gains with not a lot of spend, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a super valuable nugget. I think the experience is super valuable too. So, PJ, thank you so much for joining us for this one. I think we expected to dig a little deeper into influencer, and you gave us a master class on
Oh gosh.
waitlist, which is amazing. No, it's amazing. I think I've actually like never heard of someone who did it so predictably before. So
Mm.
this is a nice little shining case study. So
Well,
thank you so much
I
for
think
sharing that with us.
what it is it's usually using influencers to really elevate a campaign, whether
Yeah.
any campaign really, and that's just a
Mhm.
perfect example of how it can be done.
Yeah, this is perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you, Nick.
We'll put up your info. I'm sure a bunch of these folks will want to talk to you to help guide them through their plans. Super grateful to have you here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and enjoy the rest of your day.